Hey everyone, what's up? Sorry for, I guess, a little bit of a delay. I was going to do this just moments ago, but then all of a sudden the YT decides to go down, and I don't know what happened on their end. Either somebody might have hit something by accident, I don't know, but YouTube was down momentarily. But yeah, it's about 9:30 a.m. on this Tuesday, and I'm here live to do this live stream, and you see what the title is. Hopefully, and there goes the phone. I don't know who that was. Probably some prank kids. Don't you just hate it? You know, even though school's back in session for most areas, the kids decide, oh, let's go play some pranks. Not cool. Not cool at all. But anyway, again, you could see the title of this video right there, and yeah, pretty much it's a question that a lot of people have been having lately. And that is basically what it, I mean, as of last night, it's obvious, but what is with these writers on Monday Night Raw? You know, it's almost like, it's almost like they don't know what they're doing, or they can't decide what to do. You know, it's just weird, is what it is. It's just, it's almost like I said, it's almost like they don't know what to do, or how to do it. They don't. It's like they're making decisions that are just really, how do I put this? It just doesn't make any sense. Really, it's like oh there. It's almost, again, it's almost like they don't know what they're doing at times. I mean, seriously, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like at times. It feels like they don't know what they're doing. Because, all right, here's the thing. It's almost like ever since SummerSlam this past Sunday, when WWE decided to put the belt on Roman finally, they decided to go that route. It's like now they don't know what to do. It's like their backs are against the wall, It's like they don't know what to do. They don't know how to deal with it. Their backs up against the wall. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I get, excuse me. I get the WWE wants to protect. I get Vince McMahon wants to protect Roman Reigns. I get that. I understand that. but you can't keep protecting him, all the time, because inevitably, it's going to catch up to you. People are going to be wondering, okay, why did you do this? Why did you make that decision? Why'd you even put the belt on him if you know fans is not going to be receptive unless he says, oh, I'll defend it, I'll defend it, I'll defend it. And then and then hold on for a sec. Just looking at something here. And then what I'm saying is that it just, and you can see it's kind of confusing for me. It's like, what is going on here? And then on top of that, they decide just because they want to, and I'm assuming this is a temporary deal. I'm assuming this is. I'm hoping it's a temporary deal. I mean, you have them putting Kurt on vacation. I'm assuming it's a vacation that goes at least till Labor Day or maybe Hell in the Cell. At most is what I'm looking at. But if you put Baron Corbin in charge, why? Why would you have Stephanie do that? Well, because you want to oppose SmackDown. SmackDown has a babyface authority figure, GM and Paige, so you got to do the opposite on Raw. This isn't 2004. This isn't 2005. This is 2018. That doesn't make sense anymore. You want an authority figure that, could be a babyface, but will make decisions that may not be agreeable with anybody, including the fans. I mean, what is this going to result in? Baron Corbin, doing Stephanie's bidding, saying, Ronda Rousey, you're facing the... I mean, like what? Like he's going to come out and tell Ronda next week, Ronda, tonight you're facing the entire women's roster. Well, at least the heels anyway. And when you get beat, you will be forced to apologize to Stephanie McMahon. Is that what they're leading towards? Is that what they're leading towards? The fact that Baron is being put in charge just to give the heels an advantage and it's going to backfire. What's going to happen already, you could tell people are not happy about this, is they're going to tune out Raw. They're going to get on, let me see. They're going to get on their smartphones here, or their tablets or whatever, and they're just going to read the spoilers. And if something intrigues them, they'll watch that, and that's it. You pretty much, in the eyes of a lot of people, it's pretty much killed Raw now. I mean, what is this leading towards for Corbin? I mean, we've heard he's going to get a big push. What, is it inevitably going to be revealed that he just is doing this because he wants a Universal Championship match? Is that what this is about? Fine. Get it over with then. Book Hell in the Cell. Corbin versus Roman, one-on-one. But we can't do that now, can we? Can't do that now, can we? Because we don't know what the heck's going on there. We don't know. I mean, if this is WWE's plan to kind of throw us off, well, mission accomplished. They're throwing us off. But it still just doesn't make any sense. I mean, think about this. I mean, yes, we like unpredictability. Yeah, did any of us see the Shield reuniting last night? No, we didn't. But it's confusing as to what you're doing with them. What, now they're going to be heels? I mean, you have Ambrose and Rollins planning to face Ziggler and McIntyre at Hell in the Cell. What are we doing? Flipping the switch? Doing double turns? Just not really? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Unless you're setting this up for Ambrose to turn on both members like Rollins did a couple years ago. It's like, what's the point? I mean, what is the point here? Is the point going to be next week they're going to say, look, Braun comes out and says he's going to cash in after a match against whoever the champion is, and that he doesn't want to be a coward, and they're going to point out, hey, you're being a coward anyway, instead by doing that. Then if you really want to cash in against the champ, you'll do it legitimately one-on-one in an actual match and not wait till one match is over to do another. And that's the other thing that a lot of people are confused about. It's like, okay, it makes sense for Braun's character to come out and say, I'm not going to be a coward like anybody else. I'm going to face you one-on-one. I'm letting you know that as soon as your match is over, I'm facing the winner right away. What sense does that make? That still makes you look cowardly. It doesn't make any. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, the sensible, logical choice of words should be, I'm facing the winner at Hell in a Cell, or I'm facing the winner tomorrow night on Raw. That should be the logical, sensible wording that Braun should be saying. Not, oh, I'm going to cash in after this match is done, but I'm going to give you just a few minutes breather or something like that. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, does it make sense to you guys? It don't make sense to me. I mean, okay. And then this whole thing with Ronda. Look, it's great Ronda's champion, but now you're basically going to have... I mean, well, here's the thing. What's the reasoning for putting Baron Corbin in charge of GM? What? So he could do Stephanie's bidding by making Ronda's life a living hell for a while? Until what? Ronda comes out and says, Stephanie, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have gone against you. You're the boss. I'll do what you say. Is that what it's leading towards? Knowing this company just might. I mean, I was just thinking about this, earlier. I would not put it past this company. And it's not just this company, but this brand and its creative team to do that. I would not put it past them to be like, okay, so what do we do for, I know, let's put Ronda against the entire women's roster, and, I know, stipulation is if Ronda loses, then immediately afterwards, she has to sincerely apologize for going against Stephanie McMahon, acknowledge she's her boss, and she'll do what she says, and then we'll have Stephanie come out and say she accepts the apology and reminds Ronda that no matter who's gone against her or her family, they always win in the end. Is that legitimately what they're heading towards? I mean, I can understand maybe building to a women's versus divas storyline for Evolution. I get that, and maybe expanding that into Survivor Series. Excuse me. I can understand that because it makes sense. But what's going on here on Raw doesn't. I mean, legitimately, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're basically getting Stephanie McMahon's rivalry with Ronda started up again. There is rumor Ronda is supposed to face Nikki at Evolution. That's a rumor. But I think it's going to change. And it better change, I'll say that, because Nikki Bella against Ronda Rousey, I will agree. Look, Nikki has improved in the ring slightly. She has slightly, if not, I'll give 25% improved in the ring. Maybe 50% being generous. But she's not at Ronda's level. Ronda may have only been in wrestling for such a short time. But overall, Nikki is not on her level, with all due respect to Nikki Bella. She's not. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If WWE wants a real main event, mainstream match to close out Evolution, and people are going to be talking about, then give us the match that you were thinking about giving us at WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon. Think about it. Women's Evolution, you close out with Ronda Rousey against Stephanie McMahon. Ronda beats Stephanie. You end this thing once and for all and be done with it. And perhaps you turn Stephanie McMahon sort of into a babyface by acknowledging she shouldn't have gone up against Ronda Rousey in the first place, or she shouldn't have held a grudge against her. Unless they're planning to turn the tables again. It's like, again, this is just so confusing. It's so confusing because now you got plans to do 4 horsewomen against 4 horsewomen, possibly. How you do that with what happened with Becky and Charlotte on SmackDown during SummerSlam is anybody's guess. Like I said, unless you're planning to do a double switch, a double turn, and you have the 4 horsewomen come out, or at least 3 of the rest of the 4 horsewomen of the MMA come out and help Ronda beat down Stephanie during Evolution, and then probably take out most of the roster. You know, if that's your plan, fine, but again, you got to make some sense here. Because what sense does it make? You know fans are not going to want to see Baron Corbin being the GM because pretty much the smart fans and even the casual fans, here's the thing, casual, smart, and hardcore fans, they already see what's coming. They already see what's coming a mile away. Now, some have said, oh, what? Now, some have said on some of the live commentaries, live chats, if you will, that, that GOODMICWORK and DALYXMAN have had, and Wrestling Inc. have had. A lot of these live chats have said, "Oh, watch Baron be a better GM than Kurt." Yeah, here's the thing: Baron might have some shades of brilliance, but it's not going to be enough because the majority of the time it's going to be Ronda, you're facing this. Ronda, you do this. Ronda, humiliate. Or if they want to keep Roman babyface, Roman, you're doing this and this and this and this. It's going to be like, seriously, we don't have to go through with this again. And what's the end result going to be? Kurt coming back and saying he's learned his lesson. He realizes Stephanie's the boss, and that whether he likes some of the decisions he makes or not, he has to do what she tells him. Whether he likes those decisions or he doesn't. Is that what we're leading towards? Seriously? Is that what we're leading towards? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense if that's what we're leading towards. Because seriously, what would you take more seriously? What would you take more seriously? A competent babyface GM that will make decisions that may not be popular with the fans, or he or she may be against, but she has to make them. Or do you want to go down, or you want to tread down that same, or you want to go down that same tread and path that we've been before in the past, and that is, let's have a heel GM because SmackDown has a babyface GM. What sense does that make? Again, I ask you, what sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. And again, this whole thing with the Shield, it's like, yeah, what did you do? Bring him back just for one night as a nostalgic pop so Roman can keep his title for another week or another month or so, or for the next month or so he can keep his new title? What's the logical explanation? Are you going to have them come out and say, hey, Braun, you say you're going to be a man and cash in as a man when the person's, you're not going to be a coward and you're going to cash in like a man, but you want to cash in after somebody's had a match? What sense does that make? And perhaps maybe they could have Seth Rollins and Ambrose explain from experience. Hey, we know what that's like. We've been there. You're going to have Seth say, perhaps they'll have Seth come out and say, look, I've been there. I cashed in during Roman's match against Brock and won. And it's a match I wasn't even supposed to be in. And you can have Ambrose bring up, and I did, I cashed in on Seth after he won and beat Roman. So we know what it's like. We've had people criticize us about it. So why don't you be a man So if you say you're going to be a man and legitimately challenge him to an actual match, perhaps at Hell in the Cell. It makes more sense. It makes more sense if they do something like that. But right now, it's not making any sense. Because, legitimately, what are you guys doing here? It's like, legitimately, what are you guys doing? And again, and before I get any further, I do want to apologize for any kind of lags or anything that you might experience doing this. But seriously, what are they doing? What are they doing? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And look, I know WWE is trying now their best to try to bait and switch the audience. I get that. I mean, they did it at SummerSlam on Sunday. They baited and switched. They did a bait and switch on the audience, making them think we're going to get a cash in during or after the match, and that never happened. That never happened. And yet you do it somewhat again, thinking, okay, maybe we'll get Braun and Roman here. And yet you bring the Shield out. They get a nostalgic pop, but then they get booed when they take out somebody that's organically made by you guys, the WWE. It's like, what's the point in that? What's the point? You want to turn one of your most popular factions heel again because you want to protect Roman from losing his title, and the fans could see through it. The moment the Shield came out and they got that pop up, that was great. But the moment they started surrounding the ring along with Roman, and you have Strowman in the middle, that's when realization probably started to hit people like, oh crap, now we know why they're here. Now we see what's going on. And that's why they booed. They didn't boo the Shield because of what they did to Strowman. They booed the fact that they see what WWE is doing. They see that WWE is only brought back to Shield maybe for this one night, maybe for the next few weeks, because they're trying to keep the on Roman. And they know that as soon as that music hits, it's going to get a pop, then somewhat of a jeer, whatever. But they know it's going to get a reaction, and that's what they want. And it just does not make any sense in the long. I mean, it doesn't. Oh. It just doesn't make any sense in the long run. It doesn't. It really doesn't, guys. I mean, if you were going to turn Seth and Ambrose possibly heel, why didn't you just do it at SummerSlam? Why didn't you have Seth, after he won, along with Dean, beat the crap out of Drew and Dolph, and maybe have the fans turn against them there, saying, hey, this is going too far, what's going on? Why didn't you just have it then? I don't get it. I mean, I know WWE's digging into the bag of tricks because they know Monday Night Football is coming up. And they know, fans know, that WWE is going to put a lot of blame on the fact that Monday Night Football is taking away a lot of the audience. Heck, it happened last night, and that was just a preseason game. But the question is, what is up? But again, just like the title of this video says, what is up with these writers? This does not make any freaking sense. I mean, here's the truth. Here's the truth. If I can get to it. Here's the truth. And again, I apologize for any lags or anything or stream interruptions. Here's the truth. Yesterday, after I did my Creator Wrestling League's summer event, my Creative Wrestling League CPVs, which I also called SummerSlam, the heat is on. I looked at it, and it got probably the most views of any of my CAW shows, CPVs, or weekly or bi-weekly shows that they've ever got. It ended up getting 111, maybe 111 to 115 views. And it's not just because I linked it. Well, that helped too. Linked it to other sites, like on other CAW and wrestling related sites on Facebook, and I put it on Twitter and tagged and hashtagged, certain words, and tagged certain places, certain Twitter pages to it, or anything like that. It's not just that, although that helped. It's because people would rather watch and be more intrigued in a CAW created wrestling league show than what's going on Monday Night Raw. And that's a fact. They'd rather be more invested in a curated wrestling league's CPV, their version of a pay-per-view, or their weekly, bi-weekly show than what's going on Monday Night Raw, because whether a CAW show may make sense or it doesn't, it's more intriguing than what's going on with Raw, and in a way, it makes more sense. People may degrade or disrespect or may not like my league, and the same can go for other leagues, but people would rather watch it and watch what comes out of it, watch the major mega events or the weekly shows more than what's going on Raw, because it makes more sense. It does. It makes more sense. I mean, people would rather watch what's going on with the DCA Wildcats, DCA Takedown, DCA Takeover, Sudden Impact Unleashed, CCL, Champions League's Pulse, Adrenaline, Supernova, ACW, Anime Championship Wrestling, Excel. They'd rather, in other leagues out there, SCAW, they'd rather be watching their shows because their shows make more sense. Even if, some of the matchups or reasonings may not have a story behind them or some kind of background behind them, it makes more sense. It's more intriguing than what's going on with Monday Night Raw. And that's saying something. I guarantee if you would have put up a live CAW league stream, a live stream of a CAW show, let's say from CCL or DCA, against 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, a majority of people would rather tune in and watch that live stream of DCA or CCL because it makes more sense than what's going on Monday Night Raw. It does. And you might say, well, it's because they're just regular people, and they're regular people and they're free to come up with whatever they want. And that's true. That is true. But regular people like myself and those behind these CAW leagues, yeah, we can make mistakes and everything. And sometimes some of the storylines we will bring out may not make any sense at all either. But a majority of the time, it seems that what we put out, whether it makes sense or it doesn't, is more appealing than what's going on with Raw. And that's pretty much a fact. And as crazy as this sounds, that's a damn, and Lord forgive me for saying this, that's a damn shame. It's a damn shame that you have to look at it that way, because it shouldn't be like that. WWE, DALYXMAN brings up a hashtag hire new writers, hashtag fire Road Dogg, or in some cases, hashtag demote Road Dogg. Because if this is what you're going to give us, because you don't know what the heck you're doing, your back's up against the wall, you're backed into a corner, so you got to come up with different scenarios that don't make no sense whatsoever. A lot of people are going to question your thought process. I mean, yeah, some people will praise you for giving them a great main event and everything, but the closing segment afterwards just, I don't know. I mean, are they trying to go back to a time? Are they trying to be a hybrid of what is now and what was back then? Are they trying to be a hybrid of the reality era and the attitude era, where the hybrid of attitude era is you had the characters or factions that were kind of in the grayish, color, kind of like in the middle, where they may do heelish tactics, but fans love them because here's the reasoning, because they're coming out and explaining the reasoning. It just doesn't make any sense, folks. It really doesn't. And everybody that watched Monday Night Raw last night can see that something just wasn't clicking. I mean, you wonder why SmackDown is being more favorable. It's because even though sometimes the writers may make, okay, what I'm trying to say is, you wonder why people favor SmackDown over Raw right now? It's because even though the writers sometimes may have a few hiccups, at least with those hiccups, they are able to make more sense about what's going on. I mean, heck, the Samoa Joe AJ Styles thing makes more sense than what's going on right now on Raw with Roman Reigns, The Shield, Strowman, Dolph, Drew, Ronda. It makes more sense. It makes more sense. And don't be surprised that what they did here tonight backfires on them very soon on Monday Night Raw, because these decisions are stupid. I mean, what is WWE doing? Throwing their hands up in the air and giving up and saying, well, people are going to watch Monday Night Football over us anyway. Might as well just throw crap at the window and see what sticks. Is that the mentality? Is that the mentality right now? That they're just going to throw crap at the window? Excuse me for my language, God. Please forgive me in your name, I pray. Amen. But is that what they're going to do? Just start throwing crap against the wall and see what sticks? Because they're giving up, knowing people are going to rather watch Monday Night Football than Monday Night Raw? That people would rather also watch the World Series than Monday Night Raw? Is that what they're doing? They're just throwing their hands up in the air and giving up? You know, if that's the case, that's stupid. That is pathetic. This is what happens when you have too many things happening within the next few months. Think about it. You have Hell in a Cell, what? In about, 25 days? Less than a month? You have the Super Show 20 days after that. And then you have Evolution at the end of the month in October. You have all this stuff, as well as you have freaking TLC possibly. I think. Let me check. No, TLC is in December. It's going to be in my backyard, San Jose. Point is, you got all this coming up within the span of what? A month? A month. Or within the span of what is it? A month and a half? 2 months? And you're trying to cram all this in? No wonder this. No wonder people are asking the question of what's up with these writers, because nothing's making sense anymore. Again, I'm wondering if it's because they know Monday Night Football's going to be happening, and pretty much they're just throwing their hands up in the air and giving up and saying, look, people are going to favor that over us anyway. Let's just throw crap against the wall. Here's the thing, if that's the mentality, then why are they even there? Why are these writers even there if that's the mentality? It doesn't make any sense. You're putting Baron Corbin in charge of Raw, at least maybe till Labor Day weekend or Hell in the Cell at least, because you want to basically make the good guys overcome the bad guys, I mean, honestly, why don't you just... it's so obvious possibly to a lot of fans of what's going to happen with Baron Corbin. This is all leading to him. If you're keeping Roman a babyface, and the Shield thinks just to be like, hey, Braun, you want to cash in, do it legitimately, as you say you're going to do. Don't wait until one match is over, then do it. Do it in an actual one-on-one match and all that, with the opponent at 100%, whatever. If that's the reason the Shield did what they did, fine. But if this thing with Baron Corbin is all because he wants a Universal Championship match, just get it over with then. Get it over with. Get it over with is all I'm going to say, because it'll make more sense. And if the other reason maybe you put the Shield together is because they know Baron's going to screw people and maybe come after Roman, fine. Fine, do it. It's like, I look at it this. The bright side is he's acting GM. So whatever decisions he makes will get overturned once Kurt Angle comes back. Whenever that will be. And I'm assuming it'll be around Labor Day, between Labor Day weekend and Hell in the Cell is what I'm assuming. That's what I'm assuming, because we know what this is all leading towards with Baron Corbin, obviously. Hardcore, casual, doesn't matter what kind of wrestling fan, they see what it's leading towards. They see it. And if that's the plan, do it. That's all I'm going to say. Just do it. If that's the plan, go ahead and do it. Just get it over with. You're going to give Baron a run or a shot at that championship. Do it. Get it over with. Be done with it. And that's all I'm going to say. Look, Black Shadow, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And, they should go back to the old ways, but that's not how things are now. It's confusing, because now you got people wondering if the Shield is heel or face. WWE should have known that when they put Roman as champion, that they're going to be putting their backs against the wall. And now, again, it's just so confusing. And now they're going down this evil authority route, even though it's for a temporary reasoning. What? So Kurt Angle could come back, like I mentioned earlier, and say, oh, look, I understand now. Stephanie's in charge, and I have to make decisions even though I may not like them that she wants. If that's the case, then okay, fine. Have Kurt come out and do that. Have Kurt say, I'm back, and here's the decision I'm going to make to prove to Steph that I can be an unbiased GM. Ronda, you're going against the entire roster, and if you lose, you got to apologize. That doesn't make any sense. It's just, and again, it makes me wonder if they're just throwing their hands up in the air, knowing that people are not going to watch their product because of Monday Night Raw, the World Series, you name it. I mean, it makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder exactly what their heads are. Because I'll tell you this, and Lord forgive me for saying this, I'll tell you what their heads are. Right now, God forgive me for saying this, their heads are straight up the you-know-whats right now, because obviously they don't know what they're doing. And that's a fact. They don't know what they're doing, guys. They don't. And something needs to change. I mean, if WWE is starting to suddenly get this itch to go and do bait and switches just because they want to have sold out crowds or nearly sold out crowds cheering on Roman Reigns, or at least being in the audience, staying in the building while Roman Reigns performs and defends his championship and successfully defends it, it's not going to work for very much longer. Because I can guarantee you this, a lot of people, even though it probably didn't hit them until after they left or after it happened, a lot of people are realizing that the reason the Shield came out and did what they did, the reason Ambrose and Rollins came out to help Roman when they did, is to basically keep people in the building while Roman is champion. It's going to basically WWE, the writers on Raw, they need to get the crap together. They need to wake up and realize what they're doing here is going to come and backfire on them in the end. Because obviously right now, the question stays true. You know, what is up with what is up with these writers? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And I think they know that. I think they know that. So I don't know, folks. It's like I want to give WWE a chance, but again, it's like I said, people would rather watch a CAW, a created wrestling league's events or weekly shows over what's going on with Raw. And like I said, if you were to put a live stream of even my show, my CAW league, DCWA, or some of the established ones, the real legendary ones like CCL or DCA, if you were to do live streams of those and put them up against Monday Night Raw, I guarantee you, like I mentioned earlier, people would rather be watching, more people will tune into watching those than they would Raw. And that's saying something. That right there is saying something. I think a lot of people know that. A lot of people know that. And it's a shame. It's a shame to think that a product of their own doing, the WWE video games, the Fire Pro video game, and even other wrestling games that are similar in style, maybe graphically not, but similar in style, like Fire Pro, Legends of Wrestling, stuff like that. People would rather watch created leagues out of those, that come from out of those, live streams or whatever, over what's going on with Raw, because, like I mentioned earlier, whether or not some of the storylines that we as fans will put into that would make sense or not, fans would prefer that stuff over what's going on with WWE. And that's the truth. That is the absolute truth. And that's a shame. That's a shame. That is a shame, basically, because you shouldn't have to look at it that way. You shouldn't be that way, whatsoever. It shouldn't be that way. So, but again, I don't know. I've been on here too long right now, guys. So I'm gonna wrap this up because it sounds like I'm just starting to ramble. But the truth is, these writers on Raw, again, I think the stream basically says it best. What is up with these writers on Monday Night Raw lately? Because obviously what happened last night just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it would make sense if there was a reasoning for it. Hopefully there is. But I don't know anymore. Let me know what you guys think down below. oh and all that. In fact, let me check one more time, hopefully without no interruptions. And I do apologize if there is any, because it seems like with the modem that I got, the emphasis is more on the Wi-Fi than the internet. Because it seems that when people go on their modems and Wi-Fi, they kind of temporarily knock me out. Don't know why that's always the case. Yeah, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, guys. Thank you for the people that did come into the chat. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. But again, everybody watching Post Live, let me know what you guys think down below. DALYXMAN, OTRSCENTRAL, anybody watching, I would like to hear what your thoughts are. And that's really all I'm going to say, guys, because honestly, the question is, what is up with these writers lately on Raw? Hopefully we'll get some sense made out of it next week, but right now, it just seems to me WWE's throwing crap against the wall because maybe they're throwing up their hands in the air and realizing, hey, people would rather watch Monday Night Football, either whether or not it's preseason or regular season, than watch us. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Thank you all for watching. I'm out. God bless. Peace.